Selim bhai, we're now live on Facebook. We can wait a few more minutes or আমরা শুরু করে দিতে পারি because a lot of our audiences will join from the Facebook live stream.
Okay, I think we can start now, right?
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Jennifer. Assalamu alaikum and good afternoon, everyone. আজকের এই ছুটির দিনে আমাদের এই ওয়েবিনারে যোগ দেওয়ার জন্য আমি সবাইকে ব্যক্তিগতভাবে ধন্যবাদ জানাচ্ছি এবং বিআইজির তরফ থেকে ওয়ার্ম ওয়েলকাম জানাচ্ছি। So today's webinar is on procurement and supply chain during COVID-19 challenges and opportunities. As you know, that procurement and supply chain during COVID-19 has become an important topic to discuss, and we can see that academicians have increasingly shifted their attention to disruptions, risks, and possibilities in supply chain management during COVID-19. So Amra, on behalf of BRAC University's BIGD, we thought that this could be an important topic to discuss, and more particularly to talk about some sector-specific challenges and opportunities. So সেই আঙ্গিকে আমরা দুটো সেক্টরকে বেছে নিয়েছি বাংলাদেশের, একটি হচ্ছে রেডিমেড গার্মেন্টস সেক্টর এবং আরেকটি হচ্ছে ফুটওয়্যার ইন্ডাস্ট্রি। সো এই দুটোই আমাদের বাংলাদেশের অর্থনীতির জন্য খুবই প্রমিজিং সেক্টরস, এবং এই দুটো সেক্টরে COVID-19 রিলেটেড চ্যালেঞ্জেস এবং অপরচুনিটিস কি আছে বা কি ধরনের রিস্কস, অপরচুনিটিস অ্যান্ড রেজিলিয়েন্স স্ট্র্যাটেজিস কাজ করছে সেইগুলো বোঝার উদ্দেশ্যেই আমরা আজকের এই সেমিনারটির আয়োজন করেছি। তো সেমিনারটি শুরু করার আগেই আমি মূলত আমার পরিচয়টা একটু দিয়ে নিই। আমার নাম সেলিম রেজা, আমি বিআইজিটি ব্র্যাক ইউনিভার্সিটিতে কাজ করছি অ্যাসিস্ট্যান্ট প্রফেসর অ্যান্ড হেড অফ একাডেমিক প্রোগ্রামস হিসেবে। আর বিআইজিটির পরিচয় আপনারা অনেকেই হয়তো জেনে থাকবেন। ব্র্যাক ইনস্টিটিউট অফ গভর্নেন্স অ্যান্ড ডেভেলপমেন্ট, ইটস a social science research and academic institute grounded in developing country contexts and practices, and it has a mission to improve governance and development outcomes. Amader BIGD's academic programs are really geared towards developing high-performing next-generation leadership in the public and development sectors, and we are one of the leading academic institutions in Bangladesh in the areas of governance and development. And delightfully, we are increasingly becoming international, both in terms of the quality of education and education profile. So BIGT executes a specialized master's degree program in procurement and supply management, MPSM. Since 2012, this MPSM program develops highly competent procurement and supply management professionals of international standard to meet the demands of the 21st century. And we do this by building capacities to improve transparency and efficiency in public and increasingly development and private sector procurement. So in today's webinar, basically two of our brilliant MPSM alumni will be presenting on COVID-specific challenges and opportunities in supply chain in two promising sectors in Bangladesh, as I mentioned, a ready-made garment sector and footwear sector. So the question is why we organized this webinar at this time. So এটার একটু ব্যাকগ্রাউন্ড যদি আমি একটু বলতে চাই, যেটা আমরা বুঝতে পারছি যে বর্তমান কোভিড কনটেক্সটে ইনক্রিজিং ফোকাস অন হাই ডিমান্ড এসেনশিয়াল গুডস অ্যান্ড হেলথ কেয়ার প্রোডাক্টস আমরা দেখতে পাচ্ছি একদিকে, আবার একইভাবে আমরা দেখতে পাচ্ছি যে ডিসরাপশনস, পার্টিকুলারলি ইনসিকিউরিটিস ইন সাপ্লাই চেইন ম্যানেজমেন্ট, এবং অনেকেই রেজিলিয়েন্সের কথা বলছেন, রিস্ক ম্যানেজমেন্টের কথা বলছেন, এবং সাপ্লাই চেইন হুইচ ইজ ইটারনালি আ ভেরি কমপ্লেক্স মেকানিজম টু ডিল উইথ, সেটি COVID-19 এই সময়ে নানান রকমের চ্যালেঞ্জের মধ্যে দিয়ে যাচ্ছে। তো সেই চ্যালেঞ্জগুলোকে বোঝার লক্ষ্যে আমরা মনে করেছি যে আজকের ওয়েবিনারটা একটা গুরুত্বপূর্ণ পদক্ষেপ হতে পারে। তো সেই লক্ষ্যে আমরা এটা আয়োজন করেছি, এবং COVID-19 কনটেক্সটে বাংলাদেশের দুটো প্রমিজিং সেক্টরে কি ধরনের চ্যালেঞ্জেস এবং অপরচুনিটিস তৈরি হচ্ছে সেটা আমরা দেখার চেষ্টা করব। তো ওয়েবিনারের এজেন্ডা বলতে গেলে প্রথমেই আমাদের দুজন প্রেজেন্টার তাদের সেক্টর স্পেসিফিক প্রেজেন্টেশনস গুলো শেষ করবেন 15 মিনিট করে 30 মিনিট ধরে, এবং তারপরে I'll invite our respected discussants, দুজন ডিসকাসেন্টস থাকবেন এবং তারা মোটামুটি 10 থেকে 12 মিনিটের মতো করে ডিসকাস করবেন এই প্রেজেন্টেশনস গুলো। এবং ফাইনালি আমরা 15 মিনিট সময় রেখেছি অডিয়েন্সের কাছ থেকে যদি কোনো প্রশ্ন আসে সেগুলোকে ডিল করার জন্য। তো আমি ওয়েবিনারটা শুরু করার আগেই আমার কলিগ মিস জেরিনকে একটু রিকোয়েস্ট করবো কিছু হাউসকিপিং রুলস সম্পর্কে সবাইকে জানানোর জন্য, so that we can pay attention and we can listen to the webinar adequately. So Jerin, could you please explain the housekeeping rules if you would like?
Thank you so much, Selim Bhai, and welcome everyone to our BIGD webinar today. Jara already upasthit achen. As you can see, you are already on mute and will not be able to share your screen or share your video. However, we do have the option of raising your hand if you would like to add any questions. Moreover, if you have any questions regarding our webinar, any questions to the presenters or the organizers, please use the Q&A option at the bottom of your screen. It will make it a lot easier for us to moderate the questions and answer them accordingly. Please note that this virtual event discussion will be recorded and a few screenshots will be taken for the purpose of documentation and reporting. We thank you in advance for your consent and cooperation regarding this matter. Moreover, we will also share a recording of the webinar to all the attendees at the end of the webinar, and all of these resources, including the PowerPoints that we're sharing and the video recording itself, will be available on our website right after the webinar. Furthermore, if you have any questions, you can of course add them to the Q&A panel, but you can also utilize our chat box. Amader sathe jara Facebook live stream theke join korechen, I would request you to add your comments in the comment section, and we will pass on those comments and questions to our panelists and our presenters within the Zoom session today, and we'll try our best to address the comments and questions. I would also like to add that if you have any questions regarding not only the issue at hand, which is procurement and supply chain during COVID-19, but as you may know that BIGD also hosts the Masters in Procurement and Supply Chain program, the MPSM degree, for which the admission is going on right now. So if you have any questions regarding the admissions process itself, please feel free to use the Q&A session to address any specific questions that you might have regarding the degree. That's it from our end. I'd like to again hand over to Selim Bhai to take over. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Jerin. So now without any further ado, I would like to turn the time over to our first presenter. Our first presenter is Mr. Wahid Anwar, and he is one of our MPSM alumni, currently working as the head of supply chain at r-pac Bangladesh. And Mr. Anwar has 13 years of experience in operation, manufacturing, and supply chain. So he will be presenting on how COVID-19 has created different kinds of multidimensional consequences on Bangladesh's R&D sector. So Mr. Anwar, please.
Thank you, Mr. Selim Reza, for inviting me on this webinar. And I'd like to thanks to and gratitude to all the audience all over the world and the MPSM students actually who are watching this telecast. Yes, thank you very much. So I think that I'm audible and my screens are viewing.
Yes, perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. So basically that the topic that I will cover today is R&D sectors, and as you know that this is the lifeline of Bangladesh economy, and the overall, if I say that 16% GDP comes from this industry and 78% export earnings from these R&D industries, and directly 4 million people livelihood they're earning from this industry, and Bangladesh is the second largest exporters in this in the fashion industry, and indirectly there are 40 million people are managing livelihood from this industry. So it's a very important sector for Bangladesh because 1% effect of this economy or effect of this what I say that economy that affect overall economy in the long run. And if I say that industry highlight, actually, that we estimated $35 billion estimated in the 2021 export and market share, and export and market share is around $28 million. Around 4,000 factories consider the largest industrial sectors in the economy. Around 4.1 million plus workers are directly involved in these sectors. Around 61% women employment engaged in these R&D sectors played a very important role in the industry. And Bangladesh economy highly dependent on these ready-made sectors because that 16% GDP comes from this industry. So you understand the importance of the industry in the overall economy of Bangladesh. So I will go through this, the overall market share now, that the Bangladesh in WTO, the overall market shares is China is having the highest market share at this moment, 142 billion. And Bangladesh and Vietnam is closely 28 and 28 millions. And if you see that from China to Bangladesh, having a big gap, actually, it means that we have a lot of opportunities to get more market shares in coming days. So if I say that from US and Europe, market shares that we export our more market shares in Europe around 62%. And if I say on US, we have around 18% and other regions having around 17 and 3%. All right, so I will come to that, the main supply chain stream, actually how the COVID is impacting in our supply chain nowadays. As we see that in March 2020, when the COVID hits in Bangladesh, so that time also we have seen that we have impact on the demand visibility. So a lot of orders are getting cancelled, and after that, actually after 2 or 3 months, we see that some recovery part as well. So we see that demand versus supply gap, we have already observed that in these situations, and there are tremendous effect in global supply chains in the coming days. So the one of the challenges in the demand side that the buyers are not sharing that their forecast so frequently, and they're changing their demand more frequently in coming days. And supply side also, we have observed that a lot of price increase in our raw material and the longer lead time, and there are a lot of shortages in the market in terms of the raw material. And I mentioned the logistic part separately because this is also one of the key area at this moment, because a lot of freight costs are being increased in this in current situation due to pandemic effect. If I see that in the last 3-4 months back, actually, that the 30-pound cotton price has increased around 40 to 50% in the current situations, and if I see the raw cotton price also increased quite 40 to 50% in the current states. And in order to be competitive, this price has to be in a way so that we can compete with the market, and it has hit to the directly our bottom line. So if we see that as an importer of the countries like India, having the from India actually that we import 23% cotton, Brazil 14%, US also 14%. In the COVID time, India already you see that how they impacted on the COVID. Brazil also that heavily impacted on the COVID, and it has impact in our sourcing strategy as well. So if I discuss something about actually that accessory suppliers, according to BKMEA, around 1,800 BKMEA suppliers they are supporting to these industries to the RMG, and 95% demand are managed from the accessory sectors to the greater RMG sectors. Around the total market share is around $5 billion in these sectors from the accessories pie. So accessories is something that is actually supportive industry to the RMG sectors, and 95% actually we are managing from our local site. And if you see that here also that we see that a lot of impact happen already in the supplier side, accessory side. We have seen that all the raw material price of the trims and packaging like paper, yarn, and chemicals, all these has shoot up immense. I mean, without any imaginations, 40 to 50% price has increased to all the components that we are buying. On top of that, actually, on top of that, the lead time, actually, that because our sourcing strategy mainly on China, that has impacted us a lot. And some of the challenges then I can discuss here, actually, that we see that the price decline in an unprecedented way, a challenge in the demand, short notice, and brand asking for speed delivery. This is because that our lead time is long from importing raw materials. So whenever it comes from the buyer side, we see that very short lead times coming from the buyer side to manage. In that case, due to long lead time, our import and our port condition, that is really impacted on our global sourcings. Shifting demand from high value to low value, this is also one of the main criteria at this moment, because changing behavior coming from the buyer side, they quickly change their buying pattern. Increasing cotton and RMG dyes, chemical price, that I have already discussed in the last slides. Challenge on sustainable backward linkage product linkage. This is one of the key area at this moment, because the backward linkage, we are too much dependent on with importing countries. We don't have any proper backward linkage systems. So that it's an opportunity for us to set up those backward linkage industry, like textile industry, like label manufacturing industries, to have the most sustainable way. Challenge on logistic price increasing rapidly. As I said, that other effect of that logistic price, container shortages having a key aspect now at this moment, because when we asked for the 10 containers, we found 4 containers to export. Even for the important also, we have to pay around double container price at this moment. And also port conditions, most of the seaport area having a very congestions, and that also we are losing the competitiveness at this moment. And during COVID, actually, that maintaining health and hygiene at the workplace also became a key issues for us. And as you know, that limited preparedness of 27 mandatory compliance and European GSP plus facility and diversifications. As you know, that 2024 will moving out from GSP, and that 27 mandatory compliance we have to maintain, actually, to manage this competitiveness. And slow pace of implementations of efficiency project under scope of 4 and compared to other competitive nations, and an inadequate trade agreement to get duty-free access to high markets and comparison to the key competing countries, and skilled labor force. This is also a very important topic at this moment, because we are shortage of skilled laborers, because in the first wave, actually, we have seen a lot of skilled laborers actually move to the village, and they started their own way of living. In that case, actually, we see that a lot of skilled laborers at this moment shortages in the market. That also create a lot of big challenges for garment manufacturers to produce a very efficient and quality product. So if I say that in case of opportunities that Bangladesh, we have a number of green factories, that we have one of the key opportunities to increase our market shares. Investment made by key factories on IoT skill development and sustainability, helping to build the confidence from the brand. And brand can work to attract the FDI from countries that shifted investment from China. That there are some key opportunities lying, and also that due to need product increase in the market, actually, that we can utilize the capacity at this moment for need product. And from the way forward, actually, that's some things that I like to point out, that from the backward supply, develop alternative source of supply, not all eggs in the one basket, because we are heavily dependent on China. So we have to move our sourcing strategy from China to some other part of the world to see. Like for accessories industry, the industry that I work for, actually, we have moved a lot of paper product to the European market to see the competitiveness, because depending on one segment is getting a very difficult for us to manage this supply chain. And forward supply, we can say develop new market segments for all kinds of RMGs. We need to go through, because there are a lot of untapped market segments that we have not touched yet. So this is a real opportunity for us to touch those market and fix our strategy. Establishing more backward linkage facility on own brand. This is also a very key area for us, because we don't have that much of backward linkage facility in Bangladesh, like textile industries and more some other industry like accessories industry that support to R&D sectors. Secure greater labor productivity in the figure of bringing automations and industry 4 concepts. So earlier we thought that labor is one of the key factors. Now actually that now we have to move more automations to the to labor intensify markets so that we can get more productivity in the like Vietnam and other part of the world. They bring out a lot of automations to increase their productivity. And 3R concept actually risk, resilience, and sustainability. So we have to think about the risks and resilience and more about to avoid any further disruption in the R&D sectors. And in this field, actually, that generating more skilled professional in the field of procurement and supply chain. So I think that is an immense opportunity for procurement and supply chain professionals, because I see that a lot of RMGs or ready-made garments or this industry actually having a lot of opportunities and vacancies of skilled professionals. I think that we can build more professionals in this skills to fix fix this. To mitigate this knowledge gap. All right. So this is this is what I presented today, and thank you very much. Thank you very much, everyone, for viewing. And if any questions, we can discuss later on. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Anwar, for your fantastic presentation. That really shows the critical impacts of COVID-19 and how the ready-made garment sector in Bangladesh is going through different kinds of challenges and opportunities during this time. So thank you, Mr. Anwar, and I would like to request our second presenter, Mr. Ahmed Nur Alam, to present on COVID-19 and Bangladesh's footwear industry. So Mr. Alam has 8 years of experience in the footwear industry, and like Mr. Anwar, he is also one of our MPSM alumni, and he is currently working at FB Footwear Limited as manager of the supply chain management division. So now I would like to request Mr. Alam to present on COVID-19 outbreak impact analysis on footwear sector in Bangladesh. So Mr. Alam.
Thank you, sir. Assalamu alaikum. If we look at my presentation, on 9th of August, Pratham Alo published one news, and they gave one idea of the current situation of footwear sector. If we check, right now, footwear is after ready-made garments, footwear is the second largest foreign currency earning sector for Bangladesh. In 2013, Bangladesh export 17 crore, and in 2021, it's become almost double, 34. Okay, 34. In 2018, excuse me. তো আমরা যদি হচ্ছে একটু জুতার বাজারটাকে দেখি, 2018 সালে আমাদের বাংলাদেশে 2420 জোড়া পেয়ার জুতা উৎপন্ন হয়েছে, আর জুতার ওয়ার্ল্ডে শীর্ষ ক্রেতা হচ্ছে চীন, ভারত যুক্তরাষ্ট্র। বাংলাদেশের অবস্থান আছে 8মে। আর জুতার রপ্তানিতে যেই দেশগুলোতে হচ্ছে আমাদের এক্সপোর্ট হয়, জুতার রপ্তানিতে শীর্ষে আছে চীন, ভিয়েতনাম, ইন্দোনেশিয়া, জার্মানি, তুরস্ক। বাংলাদেশের অবস্থান আছে 8মে। 2000 লাস্ট 10 বছর যদি আমরা চিন্তা করি, জুতার এক্সপোর্ট ভলিউমটা অলমোস্ট ডাবল হয়ে গেছে, এবং 2027 সালের নাগাদ এটা আমরা প্রেডিক্ট করতেছি যে আমরা 53,000 কোটি পেয়ার জুতা রপ্তানি করব। প্যান্ডামিকের সময় যেটা হচ্ছে আমরা সবচেয়ে বেশি ইফেক্ট করছে আমাদের জিডিপিতে। 2009 থেকে প্রতি বছরই আমাদের জিডিপি বাড়তেছিল, এবং এটা ছিল হচ্ছে 2018-19 সালে 8.15%, বাট 2019-20 এসে এটা 5.24% হয়ে গেছে। ফুটওয়্যার সেক্টরে যে ইফেক্টটা পড়ছে, এটা বোথ এক্সপোর্ট মার্কেটও there is a huge effect and local বিজনেসের ক্ষেত্রে একটা বড় একটা ইফেক্ট আছে। আমরা যদি লোকাল বিজনেসের ইফেক্টটা চিন্তা করতে চাই, আমাদের দেশের মেইনলি বিজনেস অন ফুটওয়্যার অন ফেস্টিভ্যাল বেস, ঈদ উল আজহা, ঈদ উল ফিতর এবং পয়লা বৈশাখ, এই তিনটা সময়ই হচ্ছে আমাদের মার্কেটটা বন্ধ ছিল ডিউ টু প্যান্ডামিক। এবং হাই ভ্যালুর জুতাগুলো মেইনলি সেল হয় এই বিগ ফেস্টিভ্যালে। অ্যাপেক্সের স্টেটমেন্ট যদি আমরা দেখি, তারা 2019 সালে যেটা টার্গেট করছিল 12.274 আয় করবে, সেটা অলমোস্ট 48.49% ড্রপ করছে। এবং বাটার ক্ষেত্রে হচ্ছে যদি আমরা যদি অ্যানালাইসিস করি, মেইনলি অ্যাপেক্স এবং বাটা হচ্ছে কি জায়ান্ট ইন লোকাল বিজনেস। বাটারও প্রায় 85.37% ড্রপ করছে ইন 2020। আমরা যদি এক্সপোর্টের দিকে তাকাই, অল ওভার দ্য ওয়ার্ল্ড প্রায় ইন 2020-তে $17 বিলিয়ন বিজনেস ড্রপ করছে। এশিয়ান মার্কেটের কন্ডিশনটা ইজ বেটার দেন USA and America, but there is a drop in the market. Only increase is the China. প্যান্ডামিকের মেজর একটা ইফেক্ট আসছে আমাদের এসএমই সেক্টরে। ফুটওয়্যারের সাথে হচ্ছে অনেক এসএমই ফ্যাক্টরি জড়িত। 50 to 75% ডিক্রিজ রেভিনিউ ডিউ টু ফ্যাক্টরি ক্লোজার। আর বড় একটা আসছে তাদের সাপ্লাই চেনে। অ্যাটলিস্ট 73% ফ্যাক্টরি আর রানিং উইথ 50% অফ দ্য এমপ্লয়িজ। আমার প্রিভিয়াস স্পিকার যেটা বলছে, ডিউ টু প্যান্ডামিক many of skilled worker moved to their village. If we think the effect of the pandemic based on a factory is suffering skilled worker because absenteeism is high. Factory business promotion trips is near about to stop because all over the world factory working environment, factory is not getting the synergic effect. Production regularly disruption hoche due to lack of technician, quality fall down kortese, and there is no creativity in a factory at this moment. Bangladesh supply chain professionals are passing very critical time and very challenging time. COVID effect, if we consider from the supplier base from supplier side, raw materials price is increasing, lead time increasing, there is a huge shortage of container, supplier is not exhibiting their new innovation, and there is a problem in the world in the fund crisis. From customer point of view, customer majority shop are closed right now. There is a irregular cash flow due to closure of the shop, problem in the regular site visit. The customer also not able to participate in the examination due to raw material supply delay. Eventually, customer is getting every product in delay. There is a huge increase in the price. In our observation, last couple of years, we see since 2019 right now, raw materials price increased 3 to 123%, especially in raw chemicals, polymeric materials, and packaging items. This is one example. This from Garments Packing Association, they published this. Here we see raw materials price increase minimum 30% to 110%, 123%. Logistic cost also increase huge. From Asia to USA, its increase is 6 times. From Asia, and in Europe also increase. Suddenly in June, July, there is a huge shortage of container. Demand and supply chain. Supply. There is a huge gap between regular as per customer demand and supply. Let us share 2019 when COVID started. Mainly footwear industry received order in December, January, and from middle of January and up to middle of March, there is a vacation in China. In Bangladesh, footwear industry mainly depend on firstly on China, then on India. When footwear industry start receiving the order from their buyer, they start passing to order in China. But 2019 December, China started lockdown. Then customers suggest to think for the alternative source. For alternative source, here we start moving to India. And in March, April, there is a huge lockdown in India. And in April, we get from the customer some cancellation or postpone of the order is came. But we are lucky, eventually customer not cancel any order. As a result, in May, June, July production, factory have the over order, but there is huge shortage of supply, huge shortage of skilled worker. If we check this graph, this from the EPB, footwear achieve almost the same, which is given from the target given from by the government. Right now, supply chain profession in footwear industry, they are facing sub challenges. First challenges for them is overcome this situation. Second challenges to balance with first world countries, because third world countries we don't get the vaccine and we are not run properly. But first world countries, they are start opening everything. There is a gap in the sourcing, local materials versus import materials, completion of the order with customer satisfaction. In this, from the first slide, I share footwear industries has a huge growth right now. Especially our government declare incentive on the synthetic shoes and bags, 4% cash incentive. After that, we observe this non-leather synthetic shoes has a huge growth. If we check this graph, then we see in 2011, our export volume was 651 million, and 2021, still in the COVID situation, is almost double. If we check this graph, then we see this non-leather footwear, growth of non-leather footwear is increasing and is almost 4 times higher. From this chart, we see though leather, due to some issues, compliance issues in the tanneries, export of the leather decreased, but overall sector's turnover is increasing, mainly increasing in the non-leather shoes. If we compare with export in 2020 and 21, we see in 2021, there is a positive growth of this sector compared to the 2019, 2021 and our government export target and this ultimate export will be the same or some more. If we check our market, this for leather export, key market is USA, Spain, Germany, India. If we check market share, United States, we have a big percentage of share, market share, Spain, Germany, Japan, okay. But these all are the first world countries. They are now open, and there is not a huge impact right now for the COVID. They already opened the market. Market is open, but in our country we have problem in the supply. Right now, market have sufficient order, but it's our big challenge. How do we complete this order? In this sector, now big challenge for the supply chain profession. Sorry, okay. And another issues, due to Myanmar issues, now many customers moving and come back to our country. India issue, India also have the serious effect on the COVID. For this reason, many existing customers are increasing the order. Okay, and due to some technology improve, some order is coming to us. In this COVID situation, I request everyone to maintain social distance. Okay, thank you. If you have any question.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Alam, for your wonderful presentation. And your presentation really shows us the critical impacts of COVID-19 on Bangladesh's footwear sector. And I believe that our discussants will be putting some thorough reflections on your presentation just after some moments. So at this stage, it's time to discuss the presentations. So I would like to move to our honorable discussants. So before I request them to discuss the paper, I'd like to introduce them as well. So we have got two respected discussants, Mr. Fazlee Shamim Ehsan and Ms. Mahreen Mamoon. So to introduce Mr. Fazlee Shamim Ehsan, Ehsan Bhai has got many identities. He is Director and Vice President of Bangladesh Knitwear Manufacturers and Exporters Association, BKMEA. He's also board member of International Apparels Foundation and member of Star Initiative. And he has his own venture called Footwear Limited. And and Ms. Mahreen Mamoon is an assistant professor of BRAC Business School, BRAC University, and she is an excellent teacher and trainer. So now, may I invite Mr. Ehsan to start the discussion on these two presentations.
Thank you, Selim Bhai. Hope everyone is fine in this pandemic situation, as we are passing a really challenging time, as we know. But actually, I have almost 7 minutes time to discuss about the presentation. But what I want to say about the presentation of Mr. Wahid Anwar, because that is actually my sector, especially because I'm into the apparel and textile sector for long 24 years. So this is the best presentation I have ever seen in my life, and I'm working as a board member, BKMEA, almost 17 years, and I participate in so many seminars and this type of presentation, because Mr. Anwar actually he covered everything which is practical, because what we see always that the presentation is always a little bit different from the practical scenario. The data is coming which are not relevant to the actual situation, but he covered actually everything, and I don't know, because he is actually from the sector. That's why actually he knows ins and out. Normally we
I think we're having some technical difficulties from Shamim Bhai's end, so we're just going to wait for a few seconds until he can join back.
I have not much things to say about the presentation. He is right that normally what we saw that we never talk about the logistic. Always we talk about the production, we talk about our raw materials, we talk about our productivity. But this time, especially this year, we understand that logistics is also a very, very, very important part of our business after COVID. Normally, we don't cover these things much. And I think now it's more challenging right at the moment, because as we know that the logistic cost and of course the availability of our logistic support is now gone high like anything. So this is a very nice point actually he covered. And of course the raw materials price is right at the moment is very high everywhere, in every item, not only the main item, yarn, fabric, no, everything, even from the paper, from the plastic, everything is gone high. But we need to, from my opinion, we need to challenge this, we need to face this challenge different way. If a container service provider can increase their price, if a paper supplier can increase his or her price, why don't we, the garments manufacturer, can't increase the price? We have to look into that matter. Either we are behind, we are surpassing our international competitor or not, until we are little bit cheaper than our international competitor, or same, as we have much more quality product, we are more diversified among what we are doing in those. And most importantly, what we have you can say we have the power to accept anything from the buyer, either it's due request or undue request. This is our mentality from our socio-cultural mentality. So this power we have, actually, this is our good thing. So if the price is also same, up to that level, we can increase our price. So now we have to look into that matter. We have to increase our price. If everybody can increase their price, why don't we, the main supply chain people, the manufacturer, of course, we have to work on this. So this is, I think, the only point. It's excellent presentation, but only point is missing. We should increase the price in way forward. That we have to think about the thing. And of course, there is a lot of challenge in our sector, but I see we can overcome each and every challenge in future, because now we are getting more and more capable people, like, of course, Mr. Wahid Anwar in this sector we have, and we are getting more people. So I think in future our sector will be more flourish. But we have to diversify our product. This is very important point. We can't stay on these 4 or 5 main HS code product. We have to look into man-made fiber. Obviously, this is the big sector which is still not uncovered, not yet, it's still uncovered. So we have to look into this man-made fiber product and new item, and we have to change our mindset, especially we means the manufacturer. We have to change our mindset, because pre-COVID and after COVID situation is not the same. Before, people used to go to super shop or hypermarket, and they used to buy lots of things, and they bought, okay, if they need or no need, they buy 2-3 t-shirt or some clothes like this. But in COVID, people are now more into online based, so they mostly pick whatever they need. And online people are, and the order quantity is changed, because in online it is smaller, than the hypermarket or the chain store. So we have to adapt the way how can we make the smaller quantity, because I don't think if the COVID, of course, hopefully the COVID will be over, but after the pattern of buying will not change. People will be more and more based on online shopping. So we have to think and that also, how to adapt that market directly. So that's all from my side. I don't think any question for me. No direct question for me. So thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ehsan, for your insightful discussion on the papers. And it is quite clear that COVID-19 has really created some opportunities for Bangladesh's two promising sectors, such as ready-made garments and footwear industry. But at the same time, there are some obvious challenges that we will need to deal with some new sets of skills. So we'll be discussing that again, I think, in the future. But at this moment, I'd like to invite our discussant, Ms. Mahreen Mamoon, Assistant Professor, BRAC Business School, BRAC University, to discuss the presentations. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Selim Reza. Thank you for inviting me. I do feel like the black sheep over here, because the expertise that our beloved panel members have are far beyond that what my capacity is as a teacher at BRAC Business School. However, the 2 cents that I would give today would be based on the experience that I have had with BIGD, with the utmost honor that we had when we developed a curriculum for the knitwear industry mid-level managers, and we are successfully running that project with BIGD. So for this COVID, that it has been hit the hardest, but even before that was hit, we already have struggled with the skilled labor. We have struggled with semi-skilled mid-level managers. And that was all the reason why the SIP project has started. So if we think about what it is going to do right now, as COVID is still in full throttle, even with vaccination, the risks are still going on. And the main factor of production are still labor, which is why we have this attractiveness from Bangladesh and countries like this. So if we think about the labors and what we have done for them, and or if more importantly what we are not doing for them, we will actually intentionally, we cannot exclude that very important dimension out of the production game. So if you imagine the life of your employee, how they have been affected by COVID. Either they are family affected, either they have been dislocated, they cannot maybe afford a Dhaka city dwelling anymore. Their children are stuck at home, so they might not have the room for online or homeschooling. So all these things are now a very important factor for them to recognize. Within this context, now if we add the stress of losing a job, with this factor, if we now add the stress of losing a family member, and still we have to pay the bills. So all this now, I think we have, this is a time for us to revamp our structure, to revamp our strategy to run all these sectors, with or without COVID. So if you now think about R&D, research and development has made a new avenue where you can have access to some of the shipments done, you can have some of the production done without human hands. So without these human hands, eventually if we are focusing more on machine-driven productivity, so then again, what Bangladesh was great to know as, which is cheap labor, now you might not need that labor anymore. That's when what will happen to us? We will again fall into the very bad loop, and we might not be able to afford to get out of that loop. Now, if you think about these ethical HR practices, so what have we done? So I would be using this platform, and I'm going to request Shamim Bhai to please rethink about the collaboration that is really needed in this context. The collaboration that we have to understand the right media to allow and own the right employmentship. And from BRAC University, BRAC Business School and BIGD, I think it is a right approach to really appoint us to write cases for you. The more cases we can write for you, the more way that we can have your voices being heard in the academia. I think it will allow more avenue for us to learn better from each other's mistakes and each other's achievements. So I would not take too much of a time, rather I would love to spend more time in discussion from the Q&As to really understand what really affects in trying to, you have talked about pricing, you have talked about increase of prices. So without thinking about the additional costs that are involved, can we justify the increase of prices? Without additional services given to your employees, can you justify the increase of prices? Without justifying the safe work environment and medical benefits ensured, because what we had before the pandemic as our medical benefit maybe 1 lakh per month or per insurance. Now, if you get COVID and it's not only you, your family members might get affected as well. Now your hospital bill will be 10 lakh. So is there any additional strategies that have been taken from the compliance perspective? So, so what we understand from the supply chain and logistics part, we are still working towards achieving the high quality customer services. We are still trying to achieve the least cost effective approach. We want to think about how we can minimize our risks in trying to maintain this productivity, this government employment and everything that is coming in. And most importantly, we have to understand the relativity of the service providers, the suppliers. We cannot work, because the supply chain is so vast and it's so close context. You cannot get one chain out and expect the hurdle to look good. So thank you again for inviting me. I would love to hear more from you, but more importantly, I would be requesting the key persons here, the key stakeholders who are actually the leader of this industry, to really do something about the key chains that are part of all of this. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Mahreen Mamoon, for your wonderful discussion. And yeah, this is really important to understand how a comprehensive human resource management is going to be related to the next stage or the future that we are going to look at. So Shamim bhai, would you like to reflect a little bit on that, how we can do that in the future for ensuring sustainable procurement and supply chain management? Shamim Ehsan bhai, if you are interested to put a little bit of reflections on that.
Shamim bhai, you're on mute in case you're trying to speak and we can't hear you.
Yeah, sorry, I missed the question. Can you just ask again?
So the question is, so you are talking about increasing the price, and which is really doable, but Ms. Mahreen Mamoon is saying that without ensuring comprehensive labor management and comprehensive well-being of the workers that are really working hard to ensure productivity, the maximum productivity for the sectors. So without ensuring protection of the people, the human resources, how we can do that?
Of course not. Of course not. It is impossible that without care about the well-being of worker, we cannot ask them to go for production. Bangla, there is a phrase that pete dile pite shoy. So of course, but do you think that we are not taking care about the workers' well-being, and without taking well-being, how the 4 million workers are working in this sector, and how we become the second largest sector, second largest exporter in the world? But of course, there is no end. There is no end. Of course, we have to work on it. We are working on it, and for last couple of years, we have changed a huge in this era and in this sector, as you know. The OSH is a very important part of our sector. In competition, there was before nobody think about even OSH, right? Even now we think about these things. So of course their collective bargaining situation is much better in Bangladesh now. Even it's much better than the third country, Vietnam, Cambodia, even USA. As you know, the 7 or 8 states in USA are trade union are banned, legally banned. But we, of course, is open in Bangladesh. If anybody wants, they can go. and the right of association is open and it's compulsory. The PC committee is compulsory in the factory. So there is a lot of improvements happen for last I can say 10 years, and still there is way to go. Of course, I always said it's never-ending process. We have to, as we are changing our status of the country, and along with this, we are changing the status of our worker too. Thank you.
Thank you, Shamim Ehsan bhai. And Ms. Mahreen Mamoon, would you like to add anything on top of that?
Yes, no, thank you, Shamim bhai. As I said, we really need your support and help to champion this particular sector, especially we have to have some sort of ideas in trying to focus on the change of strategies, change of compliance in those sectors, especially COVID. And our second speaker, he has mentioned there has been significant laying off of employees. So this is also a very important portion that we have to think about. So, but yes, it's definitely, we are in this ecosystem. The ecosystem cannot run if one of the ingredients is missing. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Just I want to add one thing. If you see the labor rights situation and the labor welfare situation among the top 5 apparel exporter country, we are the best. We are the best if you think about China, if you think about Vietnam, if you think about Cambodia, if you think about the India even. So we are the best, in among the top 5 exporter countries. Thank you.
That's amazing. Even with being the best, we can never be complacent, because there's still very much ways and avenues to grow even farther. Thank you.
Thank you. And I have just a curious question to both of you. I think because you both are expert in this area, and I think you would be the best person to ask. Say, for example, I can see that big buyers are increasingly talking about supplier diversification. So that means they are talking about avoiding reliance or dependence on only one supplier. So in that context, what do you think, at what risk Bangladesh is now to lose the market, to lose the buyers, as increasingly supplier diversification is becoming a very popular concept in the context of COVID-19? So do you think that Bangladesh would be at risk of losing the market in the future, particularly in the post-COVID period?
No, I don't think so. Because as you know, many in my experience, I've not much experience, but for the last 24 years, I have seen many times they talk like this. But at the end of the day, they care about only the money. Wherever they got the cheaper price and good quality, they will move there. That's why they moved from China to Bangladesh. And if someone have more competitive than us, they will go only there. Otherwise, no. They talk about compliance, they talk about labor rights, they talk about many things. But this is, just to talk. The only thing they want is the price, and the quality. So until unless we can provide good price in good quality, we will be the market, leader.
Great. Thank you, Shamim Ehsan bhai. And Ms. Mahreen, I think you have already mentioned about research and development. So what do you think? What kind of research and development we are pursuing at this stage, and at what stage we should go in the future if we want to survive in the market after COVID-19?
Yes, thank you, Reza bhai. So then again, this is 2 sides of a coin. So if we focus on the sectors or avenues where we have to put our focus on the research sectors, it will either way take the company to a very good high standard, but then again, it might affect some of the companies which might not be as updated as others. So if you think about which sector we should focus our research main on, it's the sector which is slowing us down. It's the portion that is slowing us down. So the companies would move forward in feeding in the data, maybe through us, through BIGD, in writing cases about their organizations, what is slowing them down. So maybe the suppliers are slowing them down. So maybe research needs to be done on the speeding up, how to speed up the supply chain process. Maybe I have seen a documentary, I think a few months ago, that they are making leather out of mango pulp. So that can be an avenue for research as well. So if you are dependent on a particular portion of a supply chain that is slowing you down, that should be the avenue where you should put more research on. And to do that, there has to be more cases written. There has to be more cases uploaded and published so that we understand which company needs which type of support, and that has to be fit in to this thing. And academia has to be a part of this whole process as well, because that's the teacher which is creating the graduates who will be working for you eventually. So if you do not know the gaps in your sector, we would not be able to prepare your employees.
Thank you, ma'am. And yeah, this is absolutely necessary. And thank you for mentioning the role of academia in this area as well. And we can really understand how important is this to conduct academic research and academic studies on these important aspects. So, Shamim Ehsan bhai, would you like to add anything in that regard?
Yeah, this I always said when I go to BIGD or in a university. This is the biggest minus point in Bangladesh, that we have much gap with the academician in Bangladesh. But I have seen in China they work very closely, very closely. So this is one of the key point to their success in China. All the universities are regularly, they are connected with the industry and developing their curriculum and syllabus, everything. Like even Ahsanullah University just started like this. They make a committee to revise their syllabus and everything after getting the suggestion from the industry people. So this is very important because we have a lot of things to research nowadays. As I was talking about the product diversification. So where we should go, what type of product we should target. We know, but we don't have that much capability to present it to the our target group, government and the buyers and the social people. So that actually you people can do. So we need a joint type of work. This is very important to develop our sector for the future.
Absolutely, Shamim bhai, and I think we should have something to learn from COVID too. As COVID has many variations and as fast spreading speed, I think we have to copy COVID as well, and we have to come up with our own variations of higher productivity. We have to come up with speeding up with our own productivity so that we can be hand in hand, because as it grows, so it might affect our own efficiency. So it cannot happen. So we also have to come up with more variations of strategies, more variants of ways to tackle this COVID, and as well as keeping our own production on top. Selim bhai, over to you.
Thank you, Shamim Ehsan bhai and Ms. Mahreen Mamoon. And I wish I could continue this discussion for longer. And it is absolutely necessary to continue such discussions for a long time. But to be respectful about the time for this webinar, I would like to end the discussion here and just open the floor for any questions. So I'm going to open the floor for the questions from the audience and from the presenters as well. So please feel free to ask if you have any questions.
So Selim bhai, we had a question from Mr. Wasim Jabbar. He has added the question in our Q&A panel, but he had also raised his hand. So actually, Mr. Wasim Jabbar, if you're still here, I'd like to unmute you. And if you want to ask your question, please feel free to unmute yourself and ask your question directly to Mr. Shamim Ehsan. Okay, not sure if he is able to unmute himself right now.
Should I answer?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you hear me, please?
Yes, we can hear you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. My question is to Mr. Ehsan. He has pointed out a very pertinent question that we have to increase our price. That's because the price of they have increased their price of the raw material and of the logistics and blah blah blah. So my question is, my specific question is whether we have the bargaining power to bargain with them. If so, what is or are the bargaining power? Can you mention the bargaining power which we have?
Yeah,
Or-
thank you. Thank you. It's a very nice question. Of course, we have the bargaining power, as I said, that the accessibility of our industry, that whatever the buyer said or whatever the request they normally give us, we always say, okay, yes, we can do. And this is the mental power we have. And the second is Cambodia, even with the Vietnam in cotton, we are much more ahead. We have very good backward linkage with our competitor. Vietnam don't have in cotton. Maybe they have some better in polyester, but not in cotton. So we have a skilled manpower, though we are in crisis, but whoever we have in our industry, they are skilled. Yes, we and moreover, we have very big buyer base, and we have very big manufacturer base in our country that buyer cannot easily move to other country with this much amount of order. So they can overnight they cannot place to other countries. So they have no other option than increase the price. If we are united, I mean the Bangladeshi supplier are united. If Bangladeshi decision maker are united, then we can easily increase price right at the moment.
Thank you very much. My next question is, our presenter, Mr. Wahid Anwar, mentioned that our skilled worker are migrating. Due to pandemic situation, they have migrated to their own village or area, and they've started their new venture, or they have been employed themselves. But my question is that, almost all the times we read in the newspaper and some other media, we come to know that we are facing shortage of skilled manpower. My specific question is that whether BKMEA, or you are from which organization, BKMEA, or in a broader spectrum, the industry, do you have any specific program to develop the skilled manpower and their expertise? Because if you do not produce skilled manpower, you will be lagging behind from the other counterpart. So we need to develop our own people, number one. And we have to provide them some training, some development program. Do you have any program to develop our people, their skills, their expertise? Thank you very much.
I think I am the right person to answer the question, not Mr. Wahid. Should I? Selim bhai?
Yes. I think please go ahead.
Yeah.
And I think Mr. Anwar can also add some points if he wants.
We have several initiatives to develop the skill. We are pursuing today. There is a program, BIGD. They have a skill developing program for the mid-level management, as Ms. Mahreen Mamoon said, that she developed a curriculum for the Knitwear course for diploma. So we are developing a mid-level management, and we have a program for the workers also. We have almost 17 worker institute where the government is paying money to learn. Even we are paying money to people to come and learn the sewing, finishing, all this thing. And we are always ready to establish training center in the factories. Like my factory have, many other factory have, almost 70-80 factories have already training center, and these costs are paid by the ACIP. It's a project of ADB and Bangladesh government, and we are the partner, BKMEA. So we are developing the worker also. And other than this, EPB has another program which is on-job development, which is we call skill transformation. So develop the people for the next stage of inside their job. So we have different type of program for the skill manpower, because this is the main backbone of our industry. We know for several reasons we are behind. We are in worker shortage, which we cannot talk in this official program, but we are in shortage. So that's why we are working on it a lot. Thank you.
Thank you, Shamim bhai. And I think we have got another question, that why transportation cost is increasing during COVID-19. I think that's more related to logistics management and transportation costs. So would you like to reflect on that? Anyone?
Why shape bolen na বললে তারপর আমি বলবো না, why shape cover করে দেন এটা আমার মনে হয় যে you are very much.
Thank you very much. আসলে লজিস্টিক কস্ট বেড়ে যাচ্ছে বিভিন্ন কারণে। এক নম্বর হচ্ছে পোর্ট কনজেশন হচ্ছে অনেক বিভিন্ন দেশে ডিউ টু কোভিড, ডিউ টু স্প্রেড অফ কোভিড ভাইরাস। লাইক রিসেন্টলি চায়নাতেও কিছুদিন হয়েছে, এবং ইউরোপিয়ান কান্ট্রিতে লকডাউনের কারণে ওদের অনেক এক্সপোর্টের কার্গো জমে গেছে, এবং যেহেতু এক্সপোর্টের কার্গো জমে গেছে ওরা আমাদের দেশে আসছে না, এবং কন্টেনার শর্টেজ হচ্ছে। তো এই কারণে আসলে ড্রাস্টিক্যালি আমাদের কন্টেনার শর্টেজ এবং প্রাইস ইনক্রিজ হচ্ছে, এবং যেভাবে হচ্ছে সেটা আসলে মানে অনেকটা অবিশ্বাস্য লাগে, আসলে এত কন্টেনার প্রাইস হচ্ছে। এবং মার্জিন যখন আমরা করছিলাম তখন আসলে এই জিনিসটা এত যে বাড়বে সেটা আসলে কনসিডার করা হয়ে ওঠেনি, সেজন্য ইট ইজ ডাইরেক্টলি ইম্প্যাক্টিং দ্য বটম লাইন এট দিস মোমেন্ট। শামীম ভাই যদি কিছু অ্যাড করতে চান। থ্যাংক ইউ।
আসলে এই যে কন্টেইনার শর্টেজ হওয়ার আরেকটা বড় কারণ হলো যে এখন পোর্টগুলোতে কোয়ারেন্টাইন করতে হচ্ছে। আপনারা জানেন যে যখন এই কন্টেইনার ভেসেলগুলো মুভ করে, যেমন অস্ট্রেলিয়াতে বলেন, ইউরোপে বলেন, একটা কোয়ারেন্টাইন সময় চলে যাচ্ছে। সময় চলে যাওয়ার কারণে কি হয়েছে, এই কন্টেইনারগুলো যেমন আগে যদি একটা কন্টেইনার 2 মাসে 2টা ট্রিপ দিতে পারতো, এখন এই কন্টেইনার 2টা ট্রিপ দিতে তার 3 মাস সময় লাগতেছে। ফলে এখন হঠাৎ করে তো দুনিয়াতে এতগুলো কন্টেইনার ম্যানুফ্যাকচার করা যাবে না, এতগুলো জাহাজ নামানো যাবে না। ফলে একটা শর্টেজ পড়ে গেছে জাহাজের। যে জাহাজটা আগে 27 দিন বা 28 দিনে ধরেন চিটাগাং থেকে লে হার্বে আমার একটা কন্টেইনার পৌঁছাইতো ফ্রান্সের, সেই কন্টেইনারটা এখন 45 দিন লাগতেছে। ফলে এখানে কিন্তু তারও কস্ট বাড়তেছে, বিকজ তারও তো এখানে ইনভেস্টমেন্ট আছে একটা জিনিস। আর আপনারা জানেন যখন ডিমান্ড এন্ড সাপ্লাইয়ের একটা খেল হয়, যখন ডিমান্ডটা বেড়ে গেছে অটোমেটিক, কারণ সাপ্লাই কম, ফলে ডিমান্ডটা আরো বেশি বাড়তেছে, আরো বেশি প্রাইস ইনক্রিজ হচ্ছে, এবং এটা ডেইলি প্রাইসটা এই কারণে বাড়তেছে, কারণ ডেইলি তো এটা শর্টেজের দিকে যাচ্ছে। আর মার্কেটটা যদি এখন ওপেন আপ হচ্ছে, বাট কোয়ারেন্টাইন সিস্টেমটা কিন্তু এখনো তারা খুলে নাই। তারা ইউরোপ খুলে দিছে, বাট এই শিপগুলোর কোয়ারেন্টাইন সিস্টেমটা এখন রয়ে গেছে। তো এইটা যতদিন না তুলে দিবে ততদিন না, তারও আরো 5-6 মাস পর্যন্ত এই ল্যাগটা থাকবে, তারপরে এটা ঠিক হবে আর কি।
থ্যাংক ইউ। এরপরে আমি দুটো প্রশ্ন পেয়েছি মাহরিন মামুন ম্যাডামের জন্য। একটা হচ্ছে, does the industry feel the need of engaging the academia? এবং the second one is, when it comes to labor welfare, are we really the best?
Thank you for the question. Yes, Shamim Bhai has already addressed that. Yes, industries do approach now the academia. It is quite slow in Bangladesh. It's not fault of either of the parties, neither from the industry nor from the academia. However, there's a system gap, whereas the type of education, the curriculum that we follow are centralized. And when we create these graduates and there is a diverse selection from where they're selected for their jobs in the industry. So there has to be this some sort of internship that has to be open. So I would request again, Shamim Bhai, to open more avenues for the business graduates from private universities, to allow them to do their internships under your wing, so that they understand this sector better, and we can do interns so that we can have more reports coming in. For the next question about employee welfare, it's not a single factor. There cannot be A plus B to something to come up with the theory where I can pinpoint that, yes, we are the best in welfare. Because there are so many other factors. You have to understand the economy that we sit at. You have to understand the medical services that we have. You have to understand the education that we have, the types of family that we belong to. So employee welfare cannot be one single entity that the industries or the firms can offer us. However, it has to be more of a labor union, that what they ask from their owners and what they are getting in return, and how they are using their welfare out of it. So it is more of a compliance issue. And I really believe that Wahid Bhai or Shamim Bhai can answer this question about, are we really the best in ensuring employee welfare?
Thank you, ma'am. Shamim Bhai, would you like to add something on that?
Well, again, one phrase: good, better, best, never can be raised. So I always said there is a lot of way there is we have to achieve, and the best thing, and we have to go a long way. But what I said, that if you compare with our competitive countries, then we are better. But we don't say it can be. I said it can be raised. So it is always we have to go on process. Thank you.
Thank you, Shamim Bhai. And we have got another question from Atika Enaj, who is asking about the role of foreign investors. So the question is, can foreign investors help out in this situation? And even if we are competing with them, so what can be done by them to help us at this stage, particularly during the COVID-19 challenges?
We welcome foreign investment, but not very openly in particular section of our industry, because when the foreign investment come, if what we are not doing, right, we said we are not very good in man-made fiber, we are not very good in value-added product, very value-added product, we are not very good in sportswear, so we always welcome them. So whenever they come, we can get the knowledge, because we will get their knowledge will be transferred to our people, and in future we can develop the industry. So we welcome, but not in the sector what our people can actually do business, because the very basic we don't need, because this is our people can do this business, and this is due to the more efficiency of our people, cheap water availability, our gas price, our electricity cost, these are cheap. So this is our asset. So we don't want the foreign people come use our asset and then they go back with the money. যে আগে নীলকররা যেটা করছিল ব্রিটিশ আমলে, যে তারা নীল চাষ করে নিয়ে গিয়ে আমাদের সম্পত্তি ধ্বংস করে গিয়ে তারা বড়লোক হইছে। আমরা এটা চাই না। আমরা চাই যে হ্যাঁ তারা আসুক, তারা নলেজ শেয়ার করুক, তারা এখানে জুট ইন্ডাস্ট্রি করার যেমন করছিল, we welcome them, but নীল চাষ তারা করুক এটা আমরা চাই না। Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, Shamim Bhai. So I've got another question. The question has been asked by Mr. Farooq Sheikh, who is saying that we hear about demand or preference for expatriate mid-managers or higher-level managers in the garments industry. Why is that? And how can we overcome shortage of skill with regard to this managerial skill? So he's asking about the dominance of expatriate mid-managers or hiring from abroad. So Shamim Bhai, you are on mute. I think you'll need to unmute if you would like to answer to this question.
While Shamim Bhai is on the phone, I can just start off with the answers. So while we were doing the need assessment for our KIM project, we did ask the same questions to the owners, why there are more expatriates hired for this mid-level or supervisor position. So in this context, we cannot ignore the cultural issue, the masculinity issue, the uncertainty avoidance issue, that what makes us listen to something, some instructions, and how we work in certain instructions. So it has been proven that there are some of the countries where they have that ability to convince people to work better. There has been some of the better analytical abilities to work in this particular sector, and because of these things they said, the owners have said that these people listen to the expatriates better than they would listen to someone from Bangladesh. And that's why we have focused more on communications and technical and analytical skills into our KIM project. Shamim Bhai, there was a question for you. I was just because you were phone.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I was in a telephone. Well, I've heard the Mahreen Appa's answer. It's a very technical answer and very clear answer. But my answer is little different. বাংলায় বলি আমরা চাই না। আমরা BKMEA থেকে বিডাতে নতুন proposal দিছি last week that we don't want expatriate in this mid-level management or so-called high-level management because our people can work on this. Permission আছে দেখি আমরা বাধ্য হচ্ছি নিতে, সেটা একটা big politics. যারা কোশ্চেন করছেন আমাদের সেক্টরে চাকরি করেন, we all knows that there are many expertise, they are working in buying houses, they ask their relatives, factory owners, okay, you appoint one of my relative or one of my friend to your factory, we will give you more order, and they feel more comfortable like Sri Lankan people with the Sri Lankan people, Indian people with the Indian people. So this is the actually the scenario. So we don't want, of course, we need expatriate in Rupur power energy. We want expatriate maybe in our deep sea port. I'm not sure. Maybe we need in technical job. Maybe we need very high level, high quality textile job, but not merchandise. Not I know the why he asked the question. Many of expatriate working in job which our people can easily replace. So we don't want this expatriate, and we ask BIDA to change the law to make it more harder, that we bound to appoint local people than the expatriate. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Shamim. So before we conclude this discussion, I think I would go to our paper presenters, Mr. Wahid Anwar and Mr. Nur Alam, to put some reflections on how your MPSM degree from BRAC University has really helped you to do something innovative and adaptive during COVID-19. So how you are managing the supply chain management in your role as MPSM graduate from BRAC University.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Dr. Selim Reza sir, for these questions. Basically, that this MPSM degree has a big impact on the supply chains, because we are getting a very formal educations. We are getting a lot of resources from the curriculum. Because there are a lot of institutions who are providing the supply chain concept and training, but I don't see any organization who give a such long distancing program. Because I think that BIGT has playing a very fantastic role. In my career, actually, I really see the reflections on my work, on day-to-day work, because like contract management, negotiation with the suppliers, getting cost efficiency, effectiveness, and there are a lot of things that we have covered through BIGT master's program that we are implementing. And I as a senior level, actually, I choose BIGT in this situation because I think that I always prefer for a long program, actually, not for the short courses. Okay, and BIGT and the master's program has really fantastic role in providing this knowledge sharing. As we are discussing just now, that the expertise actually. So if we get more knowledge, and if institution like this come with these resources, and I think that is a fantastic for our supply chain professionals to get more knowledge and apply this knowledge through our MPSM program. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Anwar. And, Mr. Would you like to reflect on that a little bit?
Yeah, thank you, sir. I just add one thing. In my career, this MPSM course helped me a lot to move my career more faster. Okay, and in the time of COVID situation, first this which helped me when China is closed, that the themes comes how I solve this right now this situation. Many things I recall my education, my curriculums, and then I get the idea and move forward. Okay, especially in the time of MPSM course, we learn a lot about the contract management, negotiation, which helps in our career a lot. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Alam, for your reflections. So it's time to conclude the webinar. And just to sum up, I think procurement operating models are currently going through drastic challenges, and some important changes are taking place in procurement and supply chain management, and the public and private procurement and procurement, sourcing, buying, and merchandising side of supply chain management all are going through these changes. So what is important at this moment, as I can understand from the paper presentations as well as discussions, an integrated approach is really necessary to manage these disruptions, to manage risks, and to find out the recovery strategies to survive in the post-COVID era. So resilience strategies are really important, for managing the impacts of COVID-19 and to understand how we can really identify some effective recovery strategies for the future world, and role of technology and the role of technology, particularly in terms of finding out the resilience strategies, would be an important area to look at. And as Ms. Mahreen Mamoon was mentioning, that new research and development would be really important for the time that we are going to deal with these concurrent challenges. And also we can understand that involvement of academia or increasing number of academic researchers on integrated approaches of procurement and supply chain would be also necessary. And our MPSM program, as Mr. Anwar and Mr. Alam was mentioning, that our MPSM program is really committed to build some unique capabilities for our graduates. And we always try to create highly competent procurement and supply chain professionals who will be leading the post-COVID procurement and supply chain by effectively managing the complex functions of procurement and supply chain. And we believe that these skilled professionals will not only meet the global challenges, but also lead Bangladesh's next generation procurement and supply chain for achieving sustainable growth in the public and private sector in Bangladesh. So in today's webinar, we have come up with some innovative ideas as well, how to minimize risks and how to manage resilience in the post-COVID world. We have also talked about sustainable supply chain management. We have talked about research and development, engagement of academia, and efficiency and productivity to manage risks. We have also talked about the strategic tools, logistics management, and risk resilience, sustainability. And we have also talked about ethical human resource practices. So all these are part of the integrated approach that I'm talking about. And I believe that the next generation or the next time is about a new set of professional skills that would be really necessary to survive in the post-COVID procurement and supply chain domain. So I'd like to thank you everyone for coming in on this holiday and on this weekend, actually, Saturday. And I really appreciate the time to listen to this webinar. And thank you everyone, including the participants, paper presenters, and honorable discussants. So we truly appreciate you being here. And thanks again for joining us today, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.